I'm in Florida visiting my mom and grandma for the holidays, so I wanted to share some of the makeup looks I did using my travel makeup bag. For the first look, I'm getting ready for Thanksgiving. I wanted a cozy bronze vibe so that I can look like a turkey fresh out of the oven. So the saie Super Gel in Sunglow was a must for my base. I usually mix it in with a skin tint, but I really wanted to keep my bag small this trip, so I didn't pack a skin tint. So we're just going full glow today. Next, I'm using my go-to kulfi concealer for some 2-in-1 concealing and color correcting. I'm also adding a bit of the e.l.f. Flawless concealer for some brightening since the kulfi one is like basically my skin tone. And I got a little fancy and added it to my outer corner for a little lift to my eye. I skipped bringing a dedicated setting powder and I just brought my hourglass palette. It's just so great for traveling. I mixed the 2 finishing powders in here for under my eyes and it just gives such a really soft, natural finish. I would like to look a little snatched for Thanksgiving, so I'm going all over with this contour wand. In my last video, I was talking about applying makeup more for my face shape, and I just love doing this little scoop under my cheek. I feel like it makes my apples pop. I literally never contour around my eyes and nose like this, but it just felt right. The holidays are just the perfect excuse for doing a little more makeup than usual, in my opinion. Nothing crazy for brows this trip. I just brought my staple brow gel and brow pen. I did load them up with gel though, and they were not budging. I'm going with a golden glow for today. My name's Gianna, by the way, and I live in Chicago. And even though it wasn't super cold when we left, the Florida sunshine has just truly transformed my mood, and this glowy cheek is my ode to her. I've been using this About Face eye primer regularly, and I have had no irritation, which is unheard of for my sensitive skin. And it really just helps my shadows pop more, so I think I am an eye primer convert. I brought a ton of blushes on this trip, but this Patrick Ta one in She's Blushing has rapidly become a favorite. At first it seemed unassuming and maybe a little too subtle, but now I love that about it. It's just so easy to blend, and the peachy beige shade looks really natural and can suit so many of my looks. It's also just a little radiant, and I prefer that to a flat matte blush. Now I'm adding the cream part on top with a stippling brush. I think I prefer using a sponge, but the sponge was MIA and I still haven't found it. I like that this formula is pretty sheer so I can pack it on to my heart's content and it doesn't overwhelm the look. If you've watched any of my recent videos, you won't be shocked to see I brought the brown sugar palette. I'm using the medium brown shade all over my lid as a base for the star of the show, which is the NYX Glow Shot in Wild Cacao. It is so high shine with just one layer, and I love this bronze shade. I'm using that same medium brown on my lower lash line and then taking the deepest brown in my outer corner, before realizing I need a smaller brush or else this is gonna get muddy real quick. I wanted to add the teensiest wing with some brown liquid liner, but of course my hand started shaking and I had to keep extending it. Oh well, you can't get it perfect every single time. Now I'm smudging some dark brown liner on my lower lash line for a little moodiness, and I really like these Nabla stylos. They have so many different colors and they're super creamy. And they come with a little built-in sharpener. I think every liner should do that. I'm so happy to show you my Fenty bronzer. I love the yellowness in this shade. It just makes it so perfect for my skin tone. And I've had this for so many years and I use it often and I've barely made a dent in it. I'm returning to the eyes to add a little of the glow shot in the middle of my lower lash line. I think this is so eye-catching. I just went a little bit ham though, so I'm blending that out a bit with my bronzer. Now I want to add some brightness in the inner corner, so I'm adding some of a matte tapioca shadow there as a base for some light shimmer. This beige shimmer shadow is so pretty, and it's still warm enough to go with the rest of the look. Also, because I can't leave well enough alone, I'm returning with more glow shot to make a little gradient between the light inner corner and the rest of my lid. It's a double dose of setting spray kind of day today, because we're just gonna be hanging out all day and playing games, watching football, eating. Before we go, just a bit more powder for my shinier spots. I'm so freaking impatient though, I didn't even wait for the setting spray to dry before powdering. And I almost forgot mascara, classic. I leave it for last because otherwise the Charlotte Tilbury spray makes my lashes like stick together. And finally finishing with the NYX Butter Gloss in Praline. I absolutely love the shade, but I think it's expired now because it's feeling gritty and it made my lips a little itchy. So keep track of those expiration dates. And y'all, I'm super happy with this look. I'm feeling really cute and glowy for Thanksgiving. I also feel like I wear makeup more often when I'm traveling, and it just reminds me how much fun it is to do my whole face and just kind of spend that time playing around and not feeling rushed. Before diving into dinner, we played a lot of the card game Rummy, which is probably my favorite thing to do with my family, besides watching just like really cheesy, corny movies. My mom lives on this beautiful pond, and it is so peaceful. She truly has it made. I went outside for a quick pic and accidentally let in a lizard, which is so Florida. We had a very Jamaican Thanksgiving dinner with rice and peas, 2 kinds of oxtail, plantains, curry goat, and stewed chicken. I also had to have some traditional sides. This sweet potato souffle from Honey Baked Ham was excellent. Now we're in Orlando for a few days. My mom wanted to do something fun with Will and I, and even though we're totally content to just chill at the house, we're gonna go to Universal Studios tomorrow. But tonight we're heading to my favorite restaurant in Orlando, Tango. It's a funky tapas place, and I can't come here without stuffing my face there. Aren't I still stuffed from Thanksgiving? Not when Tango is involved. I had on a little liner and brow gel from earlier, so I'm just building this look around that. This is pretty much the same base as yesterday. I'm just skipping contour because I don't feel like it. I'm doing a really quick eye look today and just swiping this shimmery bronzer all over my lids. This kind of evens out the coloring on my eyelids, and it adds a hint of radiance, but nothing that's too sparkly. I'm also adding a little bit of the highlighter from that same Hourglass palette on the center of my lids and on my inner corner. I'm mixing the 2 brown shades in the brown sugar palette just to add some definition in the outer parts of my eyes, but not making the look too deep. I brought this purple eyeshadow stick from e.l.f., and I love just using it on my lower lash line for an easy addition of color. Sometimes I feel like it just makes me look a little tired, but today I like it. After adding that color, my upper eyes are looking a little bare now, so I'm adding Space Cowboy for some sparkle. If I feel like a look is missing something, I just add Space Cowboy. I'm taking the highlighter formula I used on my eyes and just dusting it on my cheeks. This highlighter formula is so smooth and nice. I feel like I rarely use powder highlighters right now because I'm afraid of them being too intense, and suddenly my look is all about the highlighter. But this one diffuses really well. On top of that, I'm adding Fume. It's a gorgeous dusty pink blush that I think goes really well with the purple. I'm trying to get better at pairing different colors together, and I think that it'll take a lot of trial and error. I didn't wipe off the wand before applying mascara, and it was going on so thick, I was getting so frustrated. And then I got some on my under eye. It was just not a fun mascara application, but it's fine because I love how mascara brings everything together. No lip products today other than Aquaphor because my lips were still irritated from that dang gloss. Anyway, now the look is done, so let's head to dinner. So the restaurant is covered with art from local artists that you can buy, and they also have artists painting and drawing there too. Their drinks are fantastic, and they are not for the weak. I got the Jerry Margarita, and that thing was spicy. The food is also phenomenal. I love tapas restaurants and how you can try something, love it, and then order more. The dynamite shrimp were my favorite. After dinner, we stopped by an artist who did wood-burn paintings, and they had so many with characters that I loved, but I had to get the Kirby and Hisco ones for the matching pink. Good morning! Today we're heading to Universal Studios, and I stayed up way too late watching YouTube videos on what to do at the park, so I need this concealer this morning. It's actually pretty cool in Orlando today. I ended up wearing jeans, so I'm not worried about sweating off my makeup. I'm realizing I forgot to put on sunscreen, so let's smush that on real quick. I love this Sit Sticka sunscreen. It's moisturizing without feeling greasy. It's a little pricey though, so I waited for a sale to restock, and Ulta sent me an expired one. I was so confused. They fixed it quickly, but I'm so glad I noticed. Don't ask why I'm suddenly applying this contour to my hand instead of my face. It's too late to be getting squeamish about that packaging. I'm back to my usual gold highlighter. I think it'll look beautiful in the sunshine if any decides to pop out today. I'm basically plastering my eyebrows to my face today, just loading them up with gel, because I'm gonna go on a coaster and I don't want to have to worry about my brow hairs sticking out in different directions while I'm trying to take cute pics. This stila liner is really long lasting. It's my go-to pretty much every day, but especially when I'm not going to be able to touch it up. This is the only day where I'm like, dang, it would have been nice to have a legit setting powder, but I went pretty light on the concealer, so I'm hoping that it doesn't matter. This papaya blush seemed fitting for a day outdoors, but I just remembered that I wanted to layer it with my Patrick Ta blush, so I'm just putting on a bit of that peach powder blush first before adding the other cream blush on top for Cute cheeks that'll last a day. I definitely should have done the powder bronzer before the cream blush, but it's not a makeup look if I'm not forgetting steps. I feel like it got a little bit muddy, so I'm covering that up with more blush. You know, that just seems like the answer. Now for the classic double set, I've got my special white tea of Bali scent of the Charlotte Tilbury spray that I saved for vacations, and it just makes me feel so happy and feel so luxe. Without my little fan, it seems I'm incapable of waiting for setting spray to dry. And I'm spraying the Sol de Janeiro spray in 62 everywhere. I've been neglecting it at home in favor of the 71, which smells like kettle corn, but 62 is perfect for a day at the parks. Speaking of which, let's hit it. All right, we are now caffeinated and we're gonna head to Universal Studios, and I think the first ride we're gonna do is The Mummy. So let's see what the crowds are looking like and hit the road. She's a little girl, she's a friend, she's not a cat. It's 2:30 now and we've done a bunch of the attractions that I want to do. We're waiting to do Mr. Fallon's little ride thing. I think my favorite one so far has been The Mummy though, even though it did whip me around, but there's so much like fire and cool like pyrotechnics going on. So I really enjoyed that. And the Bourne Stuntacular that I went to, I would totally recommend doing that, especially if you just want to like sit down for a bit. But I haven't been to Universal in like 12, 13 years, and it's a lot more chill than Disney. I don't know if it's just the time of the year, because it's like, it's Thanksgiving weekend, so maybe not a lot of people are here, but compared to when we went to Epcot in June, this is like relaxed. This is very nice. So I'm having a fun time just walking around and dining, shopping, all that good stuff. Well, that was just a little bit nauseating, but still kind of fun if you're into like 3D motion-y rides. This is literally made for you. Okay, we just did a whole bunch of walking, so now I think we're kind of tapped out with Universal Studios. I think we've done all we wanted to do. So we're gonna head to City Walk and look for something to eat. I heard that there's a Jamaican place. Their little tagline is, get up, stand up, eat up. So we'll see what that's about. So I'd never been to Universal Studios before, but that was just a really fun day and not overwhelming at all. I'd been to Islands of Adventure before, and that one's definitely more like thrill-seeky. The only big ride like that at Universal Studios is this like rock and roll kind of coaster. And 2 days before we got here, it got stuck at the top. And I don't know for how long, but getting stuck at the top of a 90-degree coaster is not on my bucket list, so we didn't do that. But I just love that there were all these touches of different movies that are in the Universal network. But I also loved all of the older movies that were featured, especially Jaws, because that's one of my favorite films. And they had a giant shark hanging. They've named it Bruce, and so I got a picture with it. And that was awesome. Yeah, I just really loved that there was tons to see, but it wasn't overwhelming. Like, it didn't feel as huge as, say, Epcot, which when we went there, by the end of it, I was like crawling towards the exit. And now my feet are tired, but like I know I can walk tomorrow. And that's like exactly the kind of trip that I'm looking for right now. So had an awesome time and had so much fun making this video. So thank you so much for watching. If you made it to this part, I appreciate you so much. And I will see you next time. Bye.